So I think we are ready to start. First of all, thank you all for tuning in. Um, so yeah, look, I think probably just to start, I want to acknowledge the um, original custodians of the land that we are in right now and pay respects to elders past and present. And again, thank you all so much for joining us. I think as we go through the PowerPoint presentation, the Generations Fellowship is an amazing program that is going to have and has had a lot of impact within the Western Sydney location. I think probably just to start, I think what we'll do is we'll probably just do some introduction and just give an oversight of what the program is and some of the individuals involved. So again, throughout this session, some of the things that we're going to go over is obviously the introduction. We're going to go over a bit of an overview of the program. We're going to talk a little bit about the eligibility and the activities funded, the assessment criteria, as well as a bit of a Q&A at the end. Okay, so I think probably just to start, Veronica, do you want to maybe just give us a bit of a spiel about Blacktown Arts?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Veronica Barak Gomez. I'm the curator of performance at Blacktown Arts. We're an arts organization that is part of Blacktown City Council, and we're very interested in First Nations programs, in performance, live arts in general, music, film. We have a really great digital program as well, workshops, residencies, and much more. You can visit our website and find out all about our programs, and please do come by and visit us soon. And as part of Generations, what we look after is the residency space. So we have a space that's in Blacktown that you can use, as part of Generations Fellow. You can use as a studio or a place to hang out and create and meet and collaborate with your friends at. So, yeah, thank you.
No worries. Thanks, Veronica. But if you haven't been already, Blacktown Arts and everything that they do is really amazing. It'd be really great if you checked out their program. They're doing a lot of great things there. All right, Powerhouse. Nikki, do you want to maybe just give us a bit of a spiel about Powerhouse as well?
Great. Thanks for being here, everyone. My name is Nikki. I am the manager for program curatorial here at the Powerhouse. You may have been to Powerhouse Ultimo in the past, a museum in the city. It's currently closed for renovation. We're looking forward to opening a new museum, Powerhouse Parramatta, next year. There's Powerhouse Castle Hill, which is currently open on weekends, and Sydney Observatory, if you've been there as well, up on Observatory Hill. So the Powerhouse Museum really brings together art, design, science, technology, and really kind of interrogates different ideas and conversations around those with artists and researchers and lots of interesting collaborators. We also have a collection of 500,000 different objects that span music and performance and sound through to climate science, through to fashion, architecture, health. There's, almost anything that you can think of. There's probably a version of it in the Powerhouse collection or something that's connected to it. So that kind of sits at the heart of a lot of the work that we do. And as part of this Generations Fellowship with Sound New South Wales and with Blacktown Arts, we really think about connecting artists with that collection for inspiration and for research. Our creative resident network is something that also becomes available to Generations Fellows. And we look to kind of, similar to Blacktown Arts and our partnership with Blacktown Arts, explore different performance opportunities for Generations Fellows as well. Thanks, Tina.
No worries. Thanks, Nikki. And Sound New South Wales. So just to give you a bit of a spiel about us. So obviously Sound New South Wales, we are the New South Wales government's dedicated contemporary music development office. So we deal with everyone from, individual artists to music organizations, to festivals, and we help them provide funding for them to obviously remain viable, but for them to continue to do a range of different programming. So we are, we do a broad amount of things, and we're a small but mighty team, right? In terms of the funding that we've been able to give out, again in 23-24 financial year, we've given up $15 million throughout the music industry, and moving forward, we're looking to increase that investment. Outside obviously the general funding, a lot of the stuff that we do is we provide advocacy and leadership. We provide strategic initiatives, policy development, and investment and funding. And again, just continuing to try to make New South Wales a more viable and safe music industry for the audiences. So just as we continue, I'm going to give maybe a bit of a program overview. And again, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, shoot them out, put your hand up, and we'll be able to stop the presentation so you can answer the questions. In regards to the generation program in itself is a $25,000 grant given to 2 individuals. You will also be provided 6 months studio time in Blacktown, so Blacktown Arts, as well as 6 months mentorship through the Sound New South Wales Assessor group. And basically the assessor group, or the industry assessors that we have, are individuals that are within the music industry, so ranging from PR, label, individual artists, producers, and just basically a large group of general music professionals. And you will have 6 months of mentorship with 2 of those individuals, or you can pick up to 2 individuals. So I think that's a great opportunity. For example, if you're looking to roll out an EP, or if you're looking for very specific advice to help you get to the next step. So overall, the program is geared to early career artists, and obviously the awards that the grant will provide is quite significant. Now, moving forward to the eligibility. Now, obviously, this part is extremely important if you're applying for the grant, because obviously you need to make sure that you're eligible to apply for the grant. But before you even put through your application, this is just things for you to consider. So if I can go through the eligibility, applicants must be over 18 years at the time of applying, be an Australian citizen or an Australian permanent resident, be an individual/group that lives, works, or has a strong connection to Western Sydney, self-identifies as an early career contemporary musician, songwriter, music producer, or composer, and be unsigned and not have professional representation across label, management, publishing, or booking agents. So if I look at the eligibility, it really is geared to those early career artists, and these are the, for lack of better words, these are the unmovables. These are the things that you need to make sure you tick off before you put through your application. In regards to, we get this question quite frequently. What is considered as Western Sydney? What does it consist of? So in terms of the LGAs, it's anything between, let's just say, Camden Council all the way down to Blacktown, Blue Mountains, Campbelltown, Canterbury, Bankstown, Fairfield, Hawkesbury, Liverpool, Parramatta, Penrith, Cumberland Council, and Wollondilly Shire Council. So it is quite a broad, I guess, range of different council groups, but everything, that's all the areas and all the different cities captured within that. Now, in terms of the eligibility as well, who can't apply? So, if your proposed activity started already, if you are applying on behalf of an organization, you've received funding from Sound New South Wales, Powerhouse, or Blacktown for the same fellowship. If you're applying for filmmaking, screen production, mainstream animation, or film festival, we have another body called Screen New South Wales that you could reach out to that have more specific funding for filmmaking. If you do not live, work, or have a strong connection to Western Sydney, and if you are not an early career artist. Now, in terms of the projects that can be funded under this fellowship, so the projects, and so the things that you could apply for with the 25K, which is going to be given to with the program, it could be anything from creation of an EP, development of new music tracks, mentorship with different industry professionals, music production, songwriting, utilizing different studio spaces for the experimentation of music development, facilitating recording sessions to connect musicians domestically and internationally, expanding industry networks, exploring technology and AI in music, which is really exciting, skills development, and marketing and promotion. So, look, it is quite broad. I think a lot of it comes down to your creativity, especially in the application form. We're going to go through a bit more about the application as we go by, but I just really want to note here that it is quite broad. So you do want to make sure within your application you're very specific with the activity that you want to do, and you're able to articulate what the money is going to be used for within that application. So does anyone have any questions so far before we get into some of the application preparation?
We're all good on the chat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All good? Okay.
All good.
No worries.
Oh, wait, Kathy's going. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Kathy, how can we help you?
Sorry, am I able to talk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, hi guys. When the first thing asked, is pitching for an album instead of an EP considered?
Yeah, most definitely. When we say EP, it could be new music work. So it could be an album, mixtape, EP. It could be new music work. So that all of that is okay.
Yeah. And can I get a better understanding of facilitating recording sessions to connect musicians domestically and internationally?
Yeah, so for example, if you're an artist and you're putting out an EP, or you have a range of singles that you want to release, and you think that if you have a producer, for example, North America or Europe or somewhere around the world that is very specific to the sound you want to create, but obviously that recording session costs money, you're able to use this money to reach out to that producer reach out to the producer to help you obviously produce music. So that's what we mean. It basically, the money can be used to reach out to different regions.
And would that session be done? It can be done online, or you can either fly that producer out, or we can physically go there to that country to do the session with them. Does it matter?
So it does matter. So the funding wouldn't be used for like travel, but
Yep.
you would have to find a way to sort of, whether that be sending different sessions to the producer, but you can't use the money to, let's just say, travel to a different country and then use that recording session. Majority of the activity, or the activity, needs to be done in New South Wales.
Okay, but so how would the international work? It will either be done online, or the producer would fly to New South Wales and do a session with them there, like in
Yeah.
New South Wales.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Any other questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question too.
Sure.
With respect to the requirements, you have to be an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. What if I am a temporary graduate? Sorry, what if I am a temporary resident but already on the pathway to permanent residency? Can I still apply?
So yeah, unfortunately, so for this particular program, you would have to either be permanent resident or Australian citizen.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, look, we'll keep going with the application prep, and we will continue to answer questions as we go. Okay. So in terms of just a bit more details in terms of the process and who's going to be involved, who will be assessing. So the assessment panel, so who will be obviously judging the application, is going to be a panel of assessors, including Sound New South Wales, Powerhouse, and Blacktown Arts, as well as an industry professional. And this is a really important part. What will you be assessed on? So you need to make sure when you put through your application that that you read the assessment criteria. So we will judge you based on your application and how much it aligns with the assessment criteria. And what I always tell individuals is you need to, when you put through your application and you're thinking about this, make sure that you put all of the information and you paint the picture within the application. You have to assume that, the assessors don't have any context around you. So, and, they can't look at, for example, your socials or your YouTube. Really, all of the information will come from that application, which will be aligned with the assessment criteria. So in regards to what the assessment criteria is, so the first one is the fellowship information, so the merit. So, about you, your inspirations, influences, musical background, as well as your demos that you have to provide within your application, and the importance of the fellowship, so the impact. So how will this benefit you and your career? Why you're pursuing the opportunity at this time? And then obviously a detailed budget outlining how you will use the funding. So when you're putting through your application, some advice that I would give is make sure you've read the assessment criteria. So for example, the merit and the impact, and make sure you've done a great job in answering these questions very specifically. Also, another tip as well with your demos, when you upload your demos, there's going to be a prompt that allows you to upload your demos. You can upload them through like SoundCloud. You can put a link, or you can upload them as an MP3. Make sure that they are working. So when you upload them, make sure you also go into make sure you also double check that you can click in and that you can hear it, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have amazing music, but unfortunately the links that you provide don't work. Also, something to note when you're putting through your application is, first of all, make sure that you have an artist bio. Within the bio, make sure you include things such as, if you've been on any tours, if you've worked with any, the type of artists that you've worked with, who you are, where you're from. I think this is a bit of an opportunity for you to sort of describe who you are and some of the things that you've done. Also, within the application, you are allowed to do written answers and you're allowed to do audio form answers. Now, the reason why we allow individuals to do audio form or video form answers is obviously from an accessibility perspective, but also noting that some people are able to articulate themselves more verbally than they are written. So you're going to be able to do that within the few questions in the application. So in the impact statement, outlining how the proposed activity will benefit your career and development, and as well as identifying the importance of undertaking the activity now. And I would say this is a great opportunity for you to sell yourself, talk about your community, talk about what you want to do as an artist. This is an opportunity to really give the assessors an understanding of what your plan is going to be. So, this is a part where you really need to take into consideration how you want to present yourself. And also another note, within this application, it's all going to be very individual to who you are. So please make sure you do not use ChatGPT. All right. We really want to make sure that these answers are individual and we get an understanding of who you are. The other important part as well is the proposed budget. So obviously within the proposed budget, you're going to have to talk about where the money is going to go to within that $25,000. So again, making sure that is clear, that you have line items, and you're just as precise as possible. And also, as I said, you have the 5 demos and just making sure that those links are working. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear.
So I had a question about the demos. It says max 5 files. Does that mean maximum 5 songs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All good.
Yeah, so it's up to 5. So obviously you can do, let's just say if you only have 2 or 3, just upload what you can, but you can upload up to 5.
And in terms of it being a demo, does it have to be like mixed and mastered with other instruments, or could it just be like, let's say I wrote a song, but I only have it with my voice and a guitar?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, noting that a lot of demos aren't finished, so just you can just put through what you can. They don't necessarily have to be finished songs. But
All
obviously, at the
right.
same
Okay.
time,
Thank
you do want to put your best foot forward and try to give something that is as complete as you can make it.
Yes, of course. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Phoebe. Nice. Phoebe, yep.
Hello, hi guys, hi everyone. I just had a question regarding Friday's application. What was it about his application that made him stand out from the rest?
That's a good question. Nikki, do you want to answer that one?
I don't think Nikki's.
Yeah, sure. So Friday was one of 3 successful applicants last time, and so we've run this a couple of times. His application, and quite similar to the other really successful and competitive applications, were quite clear in what they wanted to get out of the 6-month fellowship. So it touched on all of the elements. It wasn't just focused on here's the 25K, here's how I want to use that. It really thought about how that funding could be applied to relate to the work that he wanted to do in the studio space. He had some goals that he had kind of set for himself that he was hoping a mentor would be able to talk him through. And the application, although he didn't have everything figured out and he didn't know exactly what the 6 months would look like, it gave assessors a really good sense of what he had done so far, why now was a really important time for him as an artist. And it meant that assessors from the Powerhouse, from Blacktown, from Create and Sound New South Wales were able to really see how they could best support him as a fellow, so that all of those elements kind of came together, and it wasn't necessarily like it was just a regular straight up grant, a funding request for a specific amount of money that would go towards a project that he already had in mind. So I'd say that was the case across Fridays and across the other successful applicants, was demonstrating who they were as an artist, where they're hoping to get to, why now feels like the right time, and how each of the elements of the fellowship could really help to get them there.
Cool, amazing, thank you.
No worries. All right. Well, continuing on, just a few dates. Obviously, that the grant is currently open, and the close date is the 15th. And then from there, there's a 6-week assessment period. Can I just say something about the close date? Please make sure that you do not put through your application in the last 30 minutes to an hour. Why? Because you don't know what can happen from a technology perspective. You might have internet issues. You might have an issue uploading a piece of document. There might be an issue with saving your application. So you really want to make sure that you put in your application a bit early. That way you don't get into any mess. So there's many situations where an application has closed, a grant has closed, and then obviously someone hasn't put through their application, and unfortunately we cannot open it. So definitely make sure you put in your application a bit early and do not leave it to the last minute. Do we have any questions in the chat? I think I saw.
Yeah, there's a couple from Kathy.
Kathy, yeah.
Is there a percentage of the pitched project that is required to be done in the Blacktown studio location? E.g., in cases where the producer or artist cannot get to Blacktown.
Yeah, like for Kathy, to answer your question, obviously understanding you're going to have the studio access at Blacktown, so you're going to be able to go there. But for example, if you have a studio session at a completely different location, that's totally fine. You don't necessarily have to do all of the recording at Blacktown. It's just the space that's going to be made available to you. So when, for example, you want to, record some music, if you want to, like a central point for you to gather to do the work at, that's what Blacktown is there for you. But if you have sessions in different locations, that's totally fine.
And then our other question is, what's the specifics of the 6-month time period? Is it consecutive 6-month period with a set start date, or is it flexible within a longer period of time?
So it's going to be at a certain period of time. So for example, the activity start date, when you're actually able to start this activity, will be in February. So you'll start in February and then you'll go for 6 months. So yeah, it's quite specific to that time period.
And then one fellow will start.
Yeah, and then for example, after that 6 month period, that next fellow will start. So yeah, so it's going to be very specific to when start date is.
Sorry, so that was consecutive, right?
Yeah,
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so again, another thing I want to double emphasize this again, do not leave your application till the last minute. And again, just a few other questions, just some basic things. Guidelines, please make sure you read the guidelines. Please make sure you're understanding, you're over the scope of what the program is. Also check out the FAQs. There's a few questions in the FAQs that I feel like bring light to a lot of very common questions. So just read over that again just before you start your application. Again, like I said, start your application early. And what some people do is, you might start your application, you need to get more information, then you save it, you close it, you come back to another day. So you don't have to do it all in one day. You can break it down into, let's just say, a week, but just don't leave it to last minute. Again, check that, all the items within your budget are claimable. And make sure that again, I think someone asked this previously, but make sure that your demos are reflective of your best work. And just another tip as well, if you do have any questions, please make sure you reach out to someone. If you're unclear about, let's just say your budget, if you're unclear about a part of your application, just make sure you reach out. I think sometimes it's good, to bounce ideas, or just from a technical perspective, make sure that you're on the right page. Again, and then moving forward to just some frequently asked questions generally that we have. How do you find out if you've been successful? You'll receive a notification on Smarty Grant, but we will also reach out to you. I am applying with a band. Am I also allowed to apply as an individual? No, you can only submit one application. Some of our band members have previously had a career solo artist. Are we eligible? So everyone within the group, if you are a band, has to be considered as an early career artist. So if you turn 18 halfway through 2026, can I apply? No, you need to be 18 at the time of your application. And the last question is, can I change my project plan and budget if I am successful? Yes, it needs to be pre-approved, but there is some flexibility around that.
So Kathy's just asked, when do we find out whether we've got the grant? How many weeks? So
it's about 6 to 8 weeks after the close date. So let's just say close date is on the 15th. So let's just say early to mid-December. That's when the successful applicants will be told.
What a nice Christmas present.
Sorry?
What a nice Christmas present.
It will be a very nice Christmas present. Yeah. And yeah, look, this is just a list of some of the past recipients that we've had. So obviously we talked a little bit about Friday, an amazing artist from Western Sydney. We talked about Yellow Line, which is a group of different artists as well within the hip hop community. So yeah, look, I'll probably say that we've had a few really good artists come through the program, and they've been able to really gain a lot of traction being in the program and as well as after the program as well. But yeah, so look, that leads us to the end of the session. I know we'll answering a lot of questions throughout the presentation. But does anyone have any other questions as well? Does anyone have anything else that they would like to ask?
Yeah, sorry, I've got another question, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Tino.
fine.
I just want to ask about the budget breakdown and having a better understanding, the travel, accommodation, and transport section of that budget breakdown.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of like a situation where we can use it? Like I said, what if we got an international producer to come over to New South Wales to do a session? Are we able to pay for their maybe flights or accommodation or transport or something like that, what is that used for necessarily?
Yeah, so again, Kathy, it really depends on what your activity is. I'll give you an example of this would be very specific. So an example of studio time. So when I was talking about the budget, when you open up your application, you will have a budget which is included within the application. And for example, if you're going to put studio time, you just need to be specific. So for example, studio time, let's just say if you're doing 10 sessions, so it'll be studio time, 10 sessions, and each session, let's just say, costs you $50. So it'll be studio time, 10 sessions at $50 a session, which equals a final amount. So just being very specific. In your situation, when you're talking about having a producer, let's just say if it's the producer coming into, let's just say, New South Wales, it would be like producer costs. So how much your producer costs per sessions, and then you just put in the line item. If it's transport, for example, if it's let's just say domestic travel, it would just literally be what the domestic travel is and the cost of it. So it's not necessarily about being strict to what the what's it called, the line item is. It's just you being specifically able to justify how much it's going to cost very specifically. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Any other questions?
I mean, if you've got an international producer, they'll most likely give you, when you're saying, hey, come to Australia, they'll most likely have an idea of what their travel
most definitely
cost would be.
Most definitely. And again, Kathy, it's about, and a lot of this stuff is you can act, if you have a very specific example, if you need more direction, you can definitely reach out to us and you can ask us specifically how you would like to do it. But I think the most important thing would be just be very specific with your costs and make sure that you cost every single line item, just so it's very clear for us to understand. Phoebe, do you have Phoebe's hands up? Do you want to talk? Yeah.
Yep, sorry. I think Kathy might have asked this question before, and I think I had to dip out quickly, so I might have missed it. But so in terms of once again the budget, it needs to be predominantly something that happens in Australia, right? So like, for example,
New South Wales,
sorry, New South Wales. Okay, so no overseas, like if you're going overseas to do a session, that can't be factored in.
Yeah, predominantly the activity needs to be in New South Wales.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, great questions. Yeah.
Just letting you all know, there's just a couple of people that have come in late. We are going to be uploading this recording online, and it'll be available on the Generations page with the guidelines that I've left in the chat. So if you've missed this session, we'll make sure it's uploaded in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Kathy's just chiming. Thanks, guys.
No worries. And again, I'll say it one more time. If you have any other questions, make sure you reach out. Don't be shy, and we'll be happy to help you. And also, I just want to make sure you guys, if you want to stay informed with anything that's happening Sound New South Wales funding, here's the barcode. Make sure you scan it. Make sure you be a part. Make sure you put through your email address. I'd probably say when anything funding related is released, the newsletter is the first place it goes. So yeah, that's where all of our updated information is. But that being said, I think that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Veronica from Blacktown. Thank you, Nikki from Powerhouse. We really appreciate everyone's time. Again, make sure you reach out. Make sure you ask us questions. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Good luck with your
Thanks, everyone.
applications.
Thank you.
Good luck.